call this meeting to order at hey, Councilman Baker, you mind giving a blessing, sir?
Didn't slip out in time.
That's right.
Lord, we want to thank you for this day and thank you for this body that works so diligently on behalf of the Cherokee Nation. And we thank you for all the blessings that you've given the Cherokee Nation. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jack. This will be your advisor. You be good one, Joe. Be sure I'm Here's the numbers. Remember they had that college and career. Oh, my apologies. So you can do roll call. Sorry.
Dave Watkins.
Honey.
Brian Warners.
Honey.
Bill Angela.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Charlie Buzzers.
Here.
Joe Burrs.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Wanda Hatfield.
Honey.
Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Honey.
Leo Smith.
Here.
Janice Taylor. Here. Victoria Vasquez. We have one.
Thanks, Chuck. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of November 13th, 2018?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Reports. We're going to alter the agenda up real quick. We're going to have Mr. Ron Etheridge come up first. He's got other obligations to go to.
Appreciate it, sir, and Merry Christmas, everyone. You have our report, and I'll field any questions. I know there will be some, so
Term 28. Other counties. Yes, Councilwoman Shaw.
Yes, Mr. Etheridge. Hi, Ron. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I want to ask you a question. Our immersion school, what grades does that cover?
It's actually 3-year-old to the 8th grade.
3-year-olds to the 8th grade. 8th grade. Okay, and my question is this. That's Cherokee. I mean, we're teaching them in Cherokee. When these kids get out of the 8th grade, are they prepared academically to compete in public schools?
You know, we just had some graduate last year, I think. Am I correct, Holly?
Yes.
Last year was the first year. And Mr. Qualls, they were some of our better students. It's my understanding. And, you know, they, of course, Cherokee is in the language that is taught from 3-year-old to the 4th grade for the entire day. And then we have a grant where we bring in people after school, after hours, up until 5 o'clock. And English is worked with the students at that point in time. And then the 5th and 6th grade, it's kind of half and half. Correct me if I'm wrong, Holly. Okay.
I will, don't worry.
And then 7th and 8th grade. What is done in 7th and 8th grade, Holly?
It's a pull-out program for the children who've been in immersion and they go to 7th and 8th grade. They're a pull-out program, and we work with the Master Apprentice program. So those people come in and tutor our immersion students, because in 7th grade we take outside applicants to fill up the class.
Okay, are we being taught, are they being taught by certified teachers?
Yes, right now we're fortunate, sorry.
You're fine.
All
You're
right,
fine.
we're fortunate enough right now that every class at immersion has one certified speaker and then a fluent speaker, first language learner speaker as an assistant.
Okay, what about certified education major
Yes,
instructors?
yes, we do.
That too. So
Yes,
we have two
that's why we're
teachers per
fortunate,
class?
because that's very hard to do. We actually had a position just open up that we ran one time, so we didn't have any certified teachers apply that could speak Cherokee.
So this is in every class?
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And then the next question, it's costing us what, $27, $28 per student per academic semester? Is that about right in cost?
I don't know the cost.
Hey, Councilwoman Shaw, you talking about the immersion? It's about $27,000 per kid for the full year.
Well, in public schools, what is that
Oh,
cost?
it's 8,000 per kid.
It's
for
8,000
the year.
public school, but
7,000
7,000 for our immersion school. Okay, I guess and then I want to tie all this up. My question is, that's going to be, I'd like to know the success of our students upon competing and going into public schools. And I don't know at what point, since we just had the first class, I guess, graduate, at what point we'll be able to get those statistics. But I'm sure all the council members here would be very interested to have those, to see if they can transition okay, if they have the academic background to compete on that level.
Okay. Yeah, and it will take some time. And I mean, that's something that can't be done overnight, but we will look into
Thank you.
your questions you're asking.
Councilwoman Shaw, I was in the public school system for about 13 years, but there's a database called the WAVE, and it goes all the way across the entire state of Oklahoma, whether it's a homeschool or in a public school. And it's a database to track students, and you can keep up with their progress, their grades, their ACTs, what their attendance is. And those kids that you're mentioning that may have left the immersion school, if you have a roster of those kids, you could go to a school or administrator that has access to the WAVE and go in there and look those kids up, and you can see how they're performing and where they're at in the state of Oklahoma, if they're in the state. If they transfer out, we don't have any record of them. Are you familiar with the WAVE, Mr. Etheridge, and Mr. Qualls is? The WAVE?
He may be far more than me.
Well, I thank you for sharing that, because I didn't know that was available. I just want to make sure that we're giving our students the ample time and opportunity, if they need an extra year or something, that we can supply it so that they can compete transitioning to a full English speaking school.
But if you talk to school teachers around here that get some of those kids that transfer out, the teachers do complain that the kids are behind on reading levels and so forth when they come into the school. And that's kind of expected, because it's a huge challenge to teach a kid both languages, and that's just what comes with it. But if you guys are doing half and half English one day, then half Cherokee the other, you guys should be catching up. But you guys, I'm not an expert in being bilingual, but there are other experts out there, and they have best practices available that we probably need to be looking at those. Especially with that conference you guys have over the summer, the Ignite conference. All those folks that come in there are best practices people, and we need to start modeling some of our programs after that. But anyways, that's my experience with it. Councilman Crittenden?
Yes. Ron, while we have Roy in here and different ones, had a guy graduated from the Master Apprentice program, and he's out looking for a job. And how many graduated from that program?
Okay, let me first explain before I back here. You all have asked questions that, to be honest, I'm not prepared to answer, and so I have required this group to come with me. I mean, it just makes it simpler. I mean, they've been texting me and so forth, and so anyway, this just makes it easier. And so as long as I'm in this position, they will be here. So feel free to ask your questions. Roy, if you would. Come on up if you want.
Yeah, I wondered what we had in place once they are graduated, helping them find a position.
I'm not sure. I think there's 4 that graduated, but the Master Apprentice doesn't fall under education, so I don't know all the details on what they do. Though we do work closely with them. On our side of things, we do have a teacher certification, and that mainly serves our community classes. And I believe what you're referring to, we had this. I talked to the superintendent at Stillwell.
Oh,
Is it the same machine?
Well, no, I just.
Or is it something different? But
Yeah, I'm sorry if I asked the Master Apprentice program. Now I know that's Mr. Payton, and
yeah,
that's their group. And
yeah,
I'm asking the wrong folks, but
Yeah, we
Since
work closely with them,
You
but
work
they follow,
closely.
they follow
Yeah.
very different.
Well, we're talking about it. That's a great, great thing. And they might tell me we've got that in place, but if we graduate 4 or 5, man, I'd like to see upon graduation just, a focus group on those 4 or 5. You know, all the jobs available in the nation. You know, the schools that we partner with, and so if you work really closely with him,
Yeah,
I don't have his contact information. I can get it, but
Yeah, no, at the moment, we don't have we need a better pipeline. Yeah, as they graduate their program, where can we place them at Cherokee Nation in the language departments that we have?
Diane, is that something that you, part of your career services, could or do already, or?
Yes, we can, and I just offered one of them a job,
You did?
and she turned it down.
I have a position open right now, so.
A master apprentice graduate,
Okay.
Needs to come see you.
You're a speaker.
okay, but,
So send
well,
it to me.
thank you, Diane, but not that you don't have a lot on your
She
plate
wants to
already.
wait.
There's an
She's
opening.
gonna get in the master program, and she said that she was on a waiting list, and I said, well, you can take this job right now, and she said, but I'd hate to leave.
Well, that's good that,
You gotta
that
appreciate that.
you're willing to work with him. I knew you would be, but Mr. Boney, if you work with him real close, would you text me his contact information, Mr. Payton?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
Get that
sir.
to you.
Hey,
Thank you.
I assume we're talking, is this gentleman from Stillwell?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're talking about the same, I got the same phone call.
I did too.
And so did Speaker Byrd. So if you would, Roy, just follow up on that and maybe get that person's contact and get them to Holly back there. It sounds like she has an opening.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, Speaker Byrd.
On this master apprentice and these people that are going through and getting certified for the language, we had this conversation back, and I talked to Roy, and I talked to Dr. Morton, and talked to Howard and Rob Darty. Yes, we have a good program. We're going to graduate some people. 2 different levels there. One's going to be a certificate of language proficiency. The other's just going to go through and go to the master apprentice program. And what we're going to run into, and we're aware of it now, is that where are we going to place these graduates? Or where are we going to place these students that have that certificate? So it's going to be left up to us to create positions for these people. Yeah, we're going to do it at the clinics, we're going to do it in these various departments, but we're conscious of that now, that once these people graduate, where are we going to place them? Because we're going to have more and more graduate every year now. So now that we're aware of it, now we can start placing these people. Is that correct, Roy?
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of things they could do besides teaching. Like you mentioned, the clinics, they need some speakers at these places to help the patients. And so there's a lot of places we could place them.
Right.
We
I
should
got
create the position
I have a
for it.
suggestion. With our tag monies that we issue to the public schools, what if we allocated a certain amount of those dollars to be used for a Cherokee speaker to go into the school to teach the language?
I think that'd be a great idea if we
I
could
mean,
do that.
it'd be job growth, and we could start expanding our mentor people out, our mentor apprenticeship back into the schools.
Maybe not necessarily teach the language, but you could be an assistant somehow in that school system to help the students, because not all of them come out as teachers.
Sure.
Well, this is being done right now as we speak. I mean, there's a co-op in Mays County, with Pryor and Salina, and there's Stillwell is they've hired teachers, and they have 3 classes. They bought our textbook, and that's the textbook that they're using, regarding the history and so forth. And Telequal, it's being done. So yes, I mean it's out there, and it's doing nothing but getting stronger as we speak.
Yeah, Mr.
But just like the speaker was saying, if there's 4 or 5 of them, that's not asking too much. I mean, that's a incentive. If they're going to go through that program, surely we can guarantee them to find them a job. Like he was saying, the health clinics, a lot of these elders need someone to speak for them. But I like the idea of that focus group. I mean, hey, if you do this Master Apprentice program, we'll find you a job.
Yeah.
You know, there's another, Ron, you familiar with Title III in the school system with the ESL? A lot of schools are counting Cherokees as English limited speakers, and they're using that on their counts, and they're generating state and federal funds for limited English speakers, and I guess they're saying they're Cherokee speakers first. But if they're generating those dollars down, that might be another avenue that the tribe can say, hey, we got some folks ready to come work in your school. But
Of course, most of the revenue with the title program come through Title VI. I mean, but I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, if they're using the source for that, then they need to be spending the money that way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something when we have our ESSA meetings in the spring that we need to inquire. The point that you just made, you know, that Title III, are you using, you know, is that what you're doing with the money?
Yeah.
You know, we need to know.
But if that comes, if we're wanting to increase our language and get these mentors out into the schools, we might have to legislate something with our monies, and to say that, you know, we're going to put $50,000 into the school. You have to designate towards one of our mentor apprentices to your school.
Right.
But anyways, that's just an idea.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Roy. Yes, Councilwoman Hatfield.
I have a question about the stoles, the graduation stoles.
Okay.
Can you give me?
I was just going to say, we are writing policy. In fact, the only policy we've had is this, and you can't go on the web and get this. This document right here, our students know about if they're in the 14 county area. So this is getting ready to be obsolete or archaic, and we're getting ready to go with the new one, which will go on the web, which basically asks them if they have citizenship. If they have citizenship and they can show proof that they are going to graduate, and this will come from their advisor, someone on campus showing us this documentation as well, then they will be able to get stole. There has been money set aside for it, and so, you know, it's going to happen. It's going to happen this
How
month.
much does a stove cost?
Do what?
How much does one stove cost?
I think $10.
It's not that much. I would have to ask Jennifer for the approximate amount on that, and she's not here today.
Okay.
But anyway, $10,000 has been set aside to go in addition to what's already appropriated. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any more questions for Ron? Yes, Councilman Hagan.
Yeah, Ron, my grandson just graduated Saturday at Oklahoma State, and he went through on Cherokee scholarships, but he didn't get one.
Okay,
And I had several people ask me, how come he didn't have one?
okay, and
So, I mean, did he fail?
we let that, and I'm gonna take blame for that. We let that slip up on us and not having something, not thinking about the fall graduation, you know, and just thinking about spring and not having policies set. But he doesn't have one. If he wants one for his wall or something like that, have him contact us. I can assure you we'll get him one. I apologize he didn't have one to go through the commencement exercise.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Any other questions for Mr. Etheridge?
Good report.
Well, safe.
Okay.
I thank you, Mr. Etheridge.
Thank you.
Safe travels. Happy holidays. Come back and eat with us tomorrow. Next, we got vocational programs. This is Diane Kelly.
Merry Christmas. You should have received a sweatshirt, a hoodie sweatshirt from Career Services. I know that we tried to do something like this for our staff and our students. We're giving our Job Corps students blue ones tomorrow night at their Christmas luncheon, so they can wear them home. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. If they're too small, let us know, because I think they're running like a small size. So if you needed a bigger one or a smaller one, well, we can help you out. Just let us know. I would like to say, we support all of the programs inside Cherokee Nation, and this particular individual that was going through the program, the language culture program, she was actually doing her internship, and we let her work 4 to 6 o'clock to help her get her hours and everything. And we had a position that came open, and we wanted to hire her, and she really wanted the job. But the problem is, she was notified that the master program is coming about, and they're going to make a selection sometime in February. And she was being very honest and forthright with us that she wanted to get in that program. And she said, I couldn't take this job knowing that in 3 months that I might not be able to do it because I want to do the language program. So I would just ask, because I got my master's and I went to school at night and went on Saturdays. That might be something that they may want to look at if it's a master's program, is to offer it at night so people can still work, because some of these people are full, I mean, they need their jobs, and she definitely needs a job. And I hate it that she can't accept this job because of that. And she's a really good employee. And so that's something that they might want to think about, Ray, or whoever's back there that would take that into consideration, Mr. Boney. Job Corps, we received notification that our Job Corps contract is going to be signed. Mr. Goslin asked us to go back and put a pencil to some of the figures that we put in there and whittle them down a little bit. And he said that we should receive it. They gave us a 3-month extension from December 1 up through March 1st to give us time to whittle it down because they feel like that it's a little bit high and it's a little steep, but there's some requirements that they ask us to put in place, so that's why we increased it. So we're whittling it down, and they're looking at it. So hopefully we'll get that signed off and be ready to rock and roll. Job Corps, we got our performance standards for the last 6 months. Our placement is up there in the top. Our center's been full since August, and staff in OACTS are doing a good job. Met with them last week and told them that. And our center staff, as far as the residential area, that's one of the areas that we're trying to change. John Overacker has been over there working in the dorms, and he was asked to go back and work on some sociology, psychology classes, and he so graciously did that. He took 12 hours since July, and he took his finals last week, and he assured me he got A's and B's. And I told him, I said, how was it like going back to school? He said, well, it wasn't fun, but I did it because I want to keep this job. And he's doing a really good job. He's kind of the ramrod on the evening shift. So if you see John, tell him that he's doing a good job, because we think he is. They have emphasized safety and security. If you went over to the center, and I know that some of you all have gone over and played pool, or you came over and used our facility, they put surveillance equipment in over there. There's cameras over there. There is a camera in the center director's office. There's one in safety and security, so they can see everything on that whole campus. And we had an incident that occurred, and we could pull it up the next day, and we could actually see what the staff did. We could see what the kids did. We could see who all was involved in it. So it's been very good for us to be able to see all that. So nobody can actually say, well, no, I didn't do that, or no, I saw this, because we've got the camera and we can show them exactly. We can show them what they did or didn't do right. So it's been very good for us. We didn't have to pay for it. Department of Labor did. They also gave us these digi-sticks that we had to go, and all the safety and security has to go to every one of the buildings. There's a place that they have to tap to show that they actually went all over that whole campus at certain times of the day, certain times of the afternoon, night, and weekends. So one of the things that Job Corps is emphasizing is safety and security on our campuses. And they're doing this for all the 120 Job Corps centers nationwide. Jay and Scott Franks, who's over safety, had to take some extensive courses. They also had to go to some training, and they both completed the classes and did a really good job. And our safety survey that was conducted recently was high marks, so that made us feel good. And the Dallas Regional Office came up to look at everything, and they were very impressed that we already had all this stuff going. So we're working on making all these improvements, and then when the RFP signed off on, we'll be making a lot more changes. George and them are working on vocational training for some of the slots for January. We've got people that are coming in, and we're really emphasizing health because of the positions that are going to be open. And that's one of the areas that we're really suggesting that some of these people look at, because there will be jobs in the area. Are there any questions?
Hold up that sweatshirt. That's a neat design there. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a key to that rec room, EO, that's therapy, isn't it? That shooting pool. You may want to use it.
Anytime you guys want to come over, just let us know ahead of time so we can let somebody know. We have different people that work up there at the front desk.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna bring deputy over there.
okay,
Okay.
be glad to have him come over. Wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Eat
Tomorrow,
lunch with you.
join us. Bring your
All right.
apron.
Thank you.
All right, next,
You're right.
we got Head Start, Miss Verna Thompson.
Merry Christmas to you all. I would like to chime in on the conversation before about positions, and I called up there to see what positions we have that those folks could apply for if you want to spread the word. We have a teacher at Pryor and 2 teachers here in the Children's Village. By teacher, I mean teacher assistants. And then there is a lead teacher position at Siegler, which is in Salina. And it'd be great if we had bilingual folks in our program too. I think we have 7 in the whole program. So something to consider. They just need to go and talk to Kim Roach in HR.
Kim Roach, do you have her contact?
I don't.
Kim Roach.
Chad, do you
and-
by chance know Kim's number?
Kim
Okay.
Roach in
Okay.
Human
Thank you.
Resources, right?
Human Resources. And I brought some of Santa's elves to help me today. We brought some candy for y'all. Some of you will enjoy the candy, some will enjoy the apples and oranges. But we wanted to say thank you and Merry Christmas from the ECU, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about our program. Thank you. You bet. And I want to... Some of these folks you recognize, you're welcome. Mary Lee, who works with our enrollment, is special assistant, and Chad Cochran over here is special projects. Everybody knows Glenda. And I want to take a minute to brag on our day trainer, Kevin Burke.
distraction.
I know, Candy supersedes.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you back.
All right. Everybody got one? Good deal.
I know, there's not even on it. No,
Everybody get one?
I heard it's good though. I'm sorry.
And just for a second, this is Kevin Bird over here. He's a day trainer. Kevin, can you wave at everybody? He's been doing a wonderful job with us from the day trainer program. Been with us for a few months. And Glenda, everybody knows. And Daryl Smith is our one of our maintenance techs. Daryl, can you wave at everybody? They do such a good job.
Appreciate
And,
Thank you.
Mary's special assistant, and Chad, way back there, Chad. Everybody knows Chad. He's special projects. So I appreciate you all coming down to help.
Thank you, yeah. Thank
Any
you, Verna.
questions? You're welcome.
Yes, Councilman Buzzer.
Verna, I know that I've mentioned this before. What does it, or what's it going to take to get a new Head Start Center built in Jay? The old building that we got up there is probably 60 years old. I'm concerned it has asbestos in it, and I don't know what else. Because that building was built way before the hospital was built. And I have proposed this before, that we build a new Head Start Center over there by the new clinic, because I have heard in a roundabout way that those people that work there are concerned about safety.
Yeah.
So, does the Head Start grants, do they do anything as far as building centers?
We've been looking
You
around,
get
but they
it
don't
intended, you just gotta
fund
help on the
full
arm.
construction, maybe just very partial, just a portion of it. And I'll do some research, because I don't know how the Chickasaws and Choctaws build their facilities, but every time we have intertribal council meeting. They are announcing the construction or having ribbon cutting or open house on a new facility.
Well, the reason I bring this up, we give $500,000 to Macy's, we give $500,000 to another company, and it would take $500,000 to build a Head Start Center. So I guess that's where I'm coming about with all the donations we're making. You know, why can't we take care of our Cherokee kids and get a building that's safe? So do some lobbying any place you want to do it to get us from there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
His sack didn't have any candy in it, and his apples, someone took a bite of it.
Are there some rocks in there too?
Hey, Chad, what's going on here, man? I think Shamball doubled up, so I bet she's got two sitting in there.
He slipped over there while you weren't looking.
Yeah, it did the old we woke a switch.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Merry Christmas, Fern.
Yep.
Thank you. Merry
Hey,
Join
Christmas
us
to you.
tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
yeah. And
It's gonna be gluten-free, low-cal.
All right.
I wasn't there at the Thanksgiving dinner, but all the council members said it was really good, and they're really appreciative of you guys. So
We
thank
got
you.
your pie.
Thank you.
And yeah, they got my pie too. So. All right, next, we got Sequoia High School, Mr. Leroy Qualls. Mr. Qualls,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
did you bring us some gifts? Mr. Qualls, did you bring us any gifts?
Our budget can't stand that kind of hit.
Every director brought us gifts, except you. What's going on here? I was kidding with you.
Come up and look at our budget.
I'm
We used to give, first year there, I got polo shirts for everyone at Christmas at school, unbeknownst that we didn't have the money to really do that with. So it's been kind of sad since that first year.
I'm about to get with Diane Kelly. She can show you the ropes.
No comment. Come to my office and we can talk about it. You've got my report there, and the last thing on there was about a young man that was in a cheer tryout that made all-region. During the all-state tryouts, he was injured and could not perform his stunts, so he did not make it. So that was
Really?
tough luck.
He was good.
Some updates. Wrestlers will have a duel at home on January the 3rd. That's during our break. Girls basketball team won the Cherokee Nation Business Tournament at Tahlequah. Had a couple of kids that made the all-tournament team. Jonia Walker and Lexi Keys. Boys finished third. And CJ Soap was all-tournament in the boys division. And right now, both teams are 5-1. The girls play in the Tournament of Champions next. That'll be on the 28th at 4 o'clock against Bixby, who's rated number 13 in 6A. Be at ORU. Our Immersion Schools Christmas program is this Friday at 9:30. They usually do a fabulous job, and it's in the old gym, and it's pretty full. A lot of people come to that. They've got 138 kids at this point in time, which is a high number for immersion. During the, at midterm, we've got confirmed 17 graduates at midterm. And that's due to the block scheduling that we offer, along with bright students also. There may be one or two more, but at this time, we've got 17 confirmed. On our state ACT scores, I was looking this over. We scored a little bit below the state level in math and science. However, we did score 8 points above in English, 0.8 of a point, more than the state average. And in reading, we scored 6 points above than the state average. A Composite, we're down 2. Our weakest subject was math, and that's probably what pulled us down. We're trying our best now to get that beefed up some. Matter of fact, our principal is teaching Algebra 2 this year to try to help with that. We probably will need to hire a new math teacher next year to fill the void, because we need her full-time as a principal. And along with that, at the OSAC meeting last week, I found out that NSU only has 5 math graduates this year. So you're looking at slim pickings as far as teachers coming out. 6 years ago, there were 32 emergency certified teachers that applied and got certification. 32. As of December 1st, there were 2,812. And that's not going to turn around in the near future. We'll continue on that downslide. We can talk about it all we want, but that's reality. Anyway, that's a state problem, and I think they're on their way to correcting that, which is good. And we'll try to stay hooked until we can get some relief there. Semester tests are this week. Christmas meal will be this Thursday for the immersion and for the high school at Sequoia. And that's all I have as far as new information, unless there are any questions.
Yes, Councilman Dobbins?
Yeah, Leroy, how many years of math is required to be a Sequoia graduate? How many years of math are there?
It's a state.
Same as a state?
Same
which
as a
is
state.
what? Which is what?
Well, if you're college bound, you got to have Algebra 2 or chemistry or geometry. You can't, if you're not state bound, we go with the basic state requirements, which is 4 and 3 as far as English and in math.
So each Oklahoma graduate has to have 3 years of math? Or I thought it was like 2 or 3 years.
No, it's 3.
3 years?
Yes.
9th, 10th, 11th?
You remember the 4x4 that originally came out? They were trying to require 4 for everything. But it's hard to fit that in a school day and in 4 years of school. So, good question.
Any other questions for Mr. Qualls?
Did you say we were lacking a math teacher?
We're down a math teacher. That's why our principal is teaching math this year.
Yeah, Miss Campbell, she retired?
She retired last year.
Okay.
Ms. Choate is teaching Algebra 2 this term.
Well,
So if you know of any good math teachers, I'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure a lot of other schools would too.
Is there another option if you didn't have a certified math teacher? Is there anybody that the state allows or the tribe would allow to go in that knows math and be able to teach it?
Well, that's why there's so many emergency certificates now, is trying to get someone that could teach it that's not certified yet, that is a graduate of college.
Okay.
The last math teacher we hired before Ms. Campbell left us 2 years ago, and we got him out of retirement.
Councilman Warner?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Qualls?
Raston,
Yes,
Raston
Councilman.
can come to Vian Thursday night, aren't they? Big chili basil.
What's that?
Your Raston team's Sequoia,
Yes,
Vian for big Raston thing, right?
if you'll referee.
I'll give you a bowl of chili.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, rest you for a bowl of chili.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a tough match. Well, Mr. Qualls, I appreciate you. Come out tomorrow and eat with us if you're free.
I'll try to
And
get
then
this.
we'll come visit you on Thursday.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I think we're about 2 or 3 minutes over. We almost got everyone caught up. Old business, none pending. New business, none pending. Any announcements? Saying none. Next meeting will be January 14th.
Who's got the next one, Dick?
Make motion.
2 minutes?
Yeah, hold on. Yes, Dr. Gore?
Chairman, just as a quick note, I got an email from Whitney Dittman, our public relations person, and we, the Cherokee Heritage Center, our Family Research Center, just got named by USA Today as one of the top 10 genealogy research centers in the world.
Oh, that's pretty good. 10 minutes here. Motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. All those in favor say aye.